When you've been married long enough, you start to believe nothing could ever shake what you've built together. That's exactly how I felt about Emma. We had spent years constructing a life filled with memories, routines, and quiet comforts that seemed unbreakable. But marriages rarely fall apart with noise and explosions. They decay in silence, beneath casual jokes, subtle comparisons, and words left unsaid. It began small. A passing comment about another man's achievements. A remark about romance or ambition. Things I brushed off, trusting we were solid. But small cracks, left alone, always spread, and all it took was one careless sentence to make the entire illusion collapse. It was a Saturday night. Emma had suggested we have a romantic dinner at home. Candles, soft music, the kind of evening we hadn't shared in months. I made her favorite meal, poured the wine, and tried to reconnect. Halfway through, she leaned back in her chair, her glass half raised, and said with a wistful smile, "Sometimes I think I should have married Brian." Her tone was light, almost absent-minded, as though she was commenting on the weather. But her words hit me like a knife. Brian, her college crush, the man she once swore she barely even spoke to anymore. My chest tightened, but I didn't show it. I just looked at her, calm, composed, and said quietly, "Then maybe you should see if he still wants you." Her smile vanished instantly. She blinked, thrown off guard. "Excuse me?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. "If you think your life might have been better with him," I said evenly, "go find out. The door's here open both ways." She stared at me, trying to turn it into a joke, but she couldn't. The realization hit her faster than pride could protect her. She had expected me to argue, to reassure her, to prove myself. Instead, I handed her the choice, and that terrified her more than any fight could. The silence that followed could have shattered glass. She wiped her mouth, stood up, and quietly walked into the living room. I didn't follow. I could see her staring at her phone, scrolling through old messages, panic rising behind her eyes. After several minutes, she whispered, "I didn't mean it like that." I didn't reply. Some lessons only sink in through silence. She stepped outside soon after, phone pressed to her ear. I didn't move, didn't chase. I just cleared the table, washed the dishes, and poured myself some tea. Because power doesn't come from shouting, it comes from control. When she came back inside, her face was pale. "He's married," she muttered, "with 2 kids. I nodded slowly, unfazed. She swallowed hard and kept talking, her voice cracking now. "He said he hasn't thought about me in years. He barely remembered our conversations." That's when I looked up and said softly, "Fantasy has no loyalty. Reality does." She broke down completely. Tears streamed down her face as the weight of her words came crashing back on her. She tried to hug me, desperate, but I stepped back. "Respect comes before romance," I told her. "When you said that, you threw respect away." That night, she chose to sleep in the guest room. Not because I told her to, but because she understood. I didn't slam doors or raise my voice. Silence speaks louder than rage ever could. I heard her crying softly, but I stayed where I was. A relationship only destroys you if you let it, and I refused to let it break me. I had always been patient, always the one to let small comments slide, to take the quiet route. But patience can turn into self-betrayal, and that night I decided I was done betraying myself. The next morning, she made breakfast and acted as if nothing had happened. I sat down, looked at her, and said calmly, "Marriage isn't a place to test options. It's a choice you recommit to every single day. Yesterday, you chose someone else in your imagination. That's not a joke, it's a truth wrapped in one." Her eyes filled again. She broke into tears, swearing she hadn't meant it. But now she understood. Trust doesn't vanish with noise. It fades quietly, the moment respect walks out the door. Over the following week, Emma tried to fix what she had broken. She apologized, showed affection, deleted contacts, and cut ties with men she had kept as emotional backups. I hadn't asked her to. She did it because she finally understood the cost. She realized she had nearly lost a man who would never replace her, but who would also never allow disrespect. I didn't praise her efforts or celebrate her remorse. I simply watched. Time exposes sincerity better than words ever can. Eventually, I forgave her. Not because she begged, but because genuine growth deserves grace. Yet she never forgot that night. Every time she watches me succeed, every time she sees me laugh, every time I walk out the door with quiet confidence, she remembers. She remembers the night she gambled her marriage with one careless sentence and nearly lost everything. Now, when Emma looks at me, there's love, but also something deeper. The fear of losing what she finally learned to cherish. And me? I learned something too. I don't fear losing someone who doesn't value loyalty, because a person like that loses the moment they test you. My calm reply that night didn't just end her joke. It shattered her illusion. And from that moment on, she never compared me to another man again. She finally understood one truth. A real man doesn't beg for someone's attention. He steps aside and lets them discover what they truly want.